Yo, what up, everybody? Afternoon. See what we got this last hour. Real quick, we're kind of look at what's taken place since we left. We've actually hit basically all the objectives we wanted to see. So we hesitate at that 4 hour. We then get up and through it. Right. Notice how we displace through the high with the fair value gap. That's kind of a signature that we're going to continue to rally. So we hit this 4 hour, retrace into the discount, and now we just continue to push. As of this point, we're actually just below the external range. So this is the daily swing point, all-time highs here. I'd like to see if we want to reach that before market close today, or if we just kind of continue to fizzle out here heading into the close. At this point, looking at this inversion that's right here, right, we clear all the sell side liquidity with this little run lower. So that's kind of the liquidity pool that we're working within this new dealing range. Short-term low cleared, we then invert this new discount. That's what's holding us. At this point, we'll see if we want to continue to expand. Anyone think it's worth paying for premium? I mean, I use it every now and then, right? They had a good Black Friday deals. I think I'm loaded up on like 2 or 3 years of it. How often do they actually, I guess, come into play? I mean, 20% maybe, if that. And that's usually because, right, I could see everything I want to see on the 1 minute. And even on the 1 minute, you can kind of assume what the lower time frames are doing once you understand how the market moves. Up to you, though. Yeah, right, we look at them. If you get a good deal, nothing wrong with it. I like premium because you kind of get more layouts. You can get more split screens. A lot of other benefits that come along with it as well. We often say power hour is a little more methodical. So it's most likely going to be a little slower afternoon, especially because we've been moving. But we've shown here, to me, this is kind of what I wanted to see, right? We create the large gap. We create a little liquidity point. We then clear that and continue to rally. So to me, that's just a sign that we want to continue bullish more than anything, that we have bullish objectives. We're not even able to get back into consequent encroachment. So I would just expect us to continue to run now. Oh, pull that here. Let's see real quick. 5 minute OB, I like that. 2 minute. Same idea. So yeah, we'll just wait. We'll chill. This high is the high of the 4 hour fair value gap. So I'm just kind of referencing that. Don't need to actually see the 4 hour. A little cleaner. So far, not so good. Let's see. Mm, yeah, maybe in for a little doozy here. Mm-mm. I think I'll get it, but let me pass. Hey, there we go. That's a good goal to have. Could be a treat to yourself once you achieve your first payout. We have a little bit of SMT potentially here at these lows. So I have that in mind. NQ was able to run this low out relative to where we are in ES. We couldn't do that. But now I just think we're really going to be consolidating here. So I'm not going to be too quick to really pull the trigger. As far as like a signal or like a, yeah, I guess trigger point, I would need to see really. Ideally, we make a down move first, right? So like clear some type of liquidity, create an inversion, and then displace through it is what I would prefer to see. So like let's say that we can like clear these lows and then look for some type of displacement, right? That either leaves a fair value gap or an inversion over here on the left to use. Honestly, pretty good. Right, because at that point, and for those that were around, we were just looking for bullishness to continue. So we're not necessarily trying to call tops. That's something I continue to reference. Right, so as we continue to climb and climb and climb, we're just trying to find bullish moves. And the beauty of what I do is that we really can trade in either direction. So it's not ever an issue because there's always going to be at least, right, 15-minute structure that we can use. So it's nice to have that macro perspective, but as far as trading itself goes, right, we can really go either direction. Yeah, that is crazy. I thought the Apex didn't allow you to trade news like the first few minutes. I thought I read that. Maybe that was just in the actual funded accounts. Okay, that makes sense. Because I was like, yeah, I never tried that, but that's because I was in the PAs. Well, that shit is crazy. That's a legit strat. Say fuck it and just go half-half. Either way, you make your money back. Yeah, they do. I mean, that's why they make a lot of that money for sure. Activation fees. Okay, so this kind of works here. Let's see. We clear these lows. I would have liked these lows, but can't be too picky here. Oh, no more trade fee? I didn't know that either. For how long? Forever? Maybe long. Fair enough. Cool. So if we can close above, let's see. I like this down close candle here. If we can close above these highs. Let's see. Got an even. Hey. That'd be pretty sick. Okay. Damn. Hey. Yeah. Hell yeah, brother. That'd be badass. Just ball out. Gonna have to let me know when you actually get the call up. We'll hit you the super horn. Big time. That's big time, baby. Two minutes / 1 minute. 2 minute closes above highs here. I like that too. Equal lows. That gives us 5 right there. See, this is the time I actually used a lower time frame. 15-second fair value gap. 30-second as well. I'd like to see us get back into that. Inside of the 1 minute. You're gonna try for longer? You're gonna try what? You're gonna try for longer. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, that fits you, honestly. I struggle with longer. I struggle with holding trades, to be honest. That's why I'm such a scalper, you'll say. Impatient. But some people, yeah, like you say, if you run into over trading, sticks like a 5 minute or whatever, don't go under a 5 minute. They move so fast. I mean, I haven't really looked. I started on Forex. I haven't looked at them in a while, but I feel like it moves relative to Forex pairs once you get used to it. If anything, it's more precise, which is good. Two-minute didn't close above. We wanted to see that. Closes inside that range still, so still looking for that consolidation to continue. We'll see how we react at that 30-second and 15-second fair value gap inside the 1 minute. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, B. That's the beauty of it. Once you learn the concepts, you can apply it to any time frame, really. Chasing the 50Ks. That's comedy. Just going balls to the wall. Yeah, you don't want to get too carried away. I mean, now that you got those accounts, so I would say, like you're saying, just go slow for a bit, stack some payouts, and then if you're trying to get more accounts later, that's when you can go for it. Hold that 30-second. Let's see if we can get above it again. If we can close back above this, that'll be good for us. This becomes buy side. Also a YouTube, we're in the YouTube model now. So opposing fair value gap here, right? Short-term high clear, displacement, leaving a fair value gap. So this will be the opposing PD array. We're gonna try to long from this 30-second fair value gap here. So we went in right at consequent encroachment of that with a pretty tight stop under 2 handles. We'll see if that can pan out. Oh my God, and we actually don't even care about that anyway. We went in with micros instead. I'm on the wrong chart. Okay. Well, we're still in there, but just not, we're with micros, so I mean, it's going to be minuscule. We'll still see how that plays out. But we got in at 53.25, which is basically right at the high of that right there. I'd like these equal highs right here, which is about 5.5 handles. If we get stopped out, right, this is going to hold us, so we won't get above this. We'll kind of consolidate here or stab up into it a little bit and then reverse. But we'll see. Catch up with questions. Let's see. Do you use the same number of contracts during eval? Yeah, I don't. I would advise not to. That is tough. Yeah, you can't, you gotta be sure not to fuck up on those entries. Like I just messed up now. Macro chart on accident. But yeah, once you get the actual funded accounts, you gotta treat that more legit. I mean, ideally up until you get them, I would treat it legit too. But like if you're someone that's had funded accounts before, you're just trying to stack onto them, it's all right to kind of, like B said, YOLO it a little bit, go a little extra hard. So at this point from our entry, ideally like you'd want to see the volume imbalance hold as I'm following this. If we're going to remain bullish, wouldn't want to see the body start closing back underneath this volume imbalance here. 30-second held nicely. That's basically fully rebalanced in my eyes. So also wouldn't want to see any lower than that, to be honest. So like at this point, we could already move stop below this low. So if we got in here like we did, could almost cut that stop loss in half. I'll leave it for now just because we got in on the micros. Yeah, I've got to keep on moving. Yeah, see, NQ's leading us. NQ should run that high. About a tick away. Which honestly is probably not ideal, right? What I'm talking about. For those that can't see, we got NQ on the other chart. We're at a tick away from the highs right there. We wouldn't want to see NQ run these and snap back into the range, especially now that we're kind of revisiting this premium, because then we may run into kind of that SMT again, bearish, where ES fails to run the highs while NQ does. We want to see basically this fair value gap get displaced right through. Yeah. Oh. Let's see the reaction we get here. At this point, stop has been moved from the original stop here. Now we're under the swing low. After they begin switches line. And Q high cleared. Let's see if ES can't catch up, baby. We like this buy side here, ideally, you know what I mean? Closing above consequent encroachment is ideal. See if we leave that fair value gap open. And then let's see if we can't use that as support to rally us up into our buy side target right here. He said TP's getting smashed, boy. You know I be in ES, so I'm always waiting on that buy side. Always lagging behind. Shake my head, brother. We get up there though. We're gonna go no partials or anything, so just full pull. 53.25. We're currently sitting like this with entry, stop loss below the low. And we'll get out fully if we can get to the high. If not, oh well. Holding the highs. So kind of like we mentioned, right? We don't want to see basically what we're seeing here. Where we've ran the high in NQ. Bloop. We said, here you go, decent. Let me get you out. Link's going to have to not get out of his trade, though. But now if we start closing back within this range, obviously ES is the weaker of the two. So ES is going to have a higher likelihood to want to retrace in on itself. I'd prefer that we kind of, let's see what we got on NQ. 5 minute. 5 minute closes right there. Yeah, it's not ideal. We'll see if we can't hold the 5 minute fair value gap. But if we start retracing, I was like, I wish we could hedge here. We could almost go short off the inversion. If we were to like invert this bullish fair value gap right here, I'd almost want to hedge that to short back into these lows. Mm. Wouldn't want to see us start closing back below this potential inversion. We never close above it. We close above consequent encroachment, but now we've taken that back, right? So we've reclaimed, move this real quick. We've reclaimed this. This becomes an inversion for us, bearish. Yeah, which makes me think we may want to use that to then run lower. Notice we leave behind a bearish fair value gap. So in my mind, right, say that we're going to start retracing in on itself. We use that to target lows where we enter. Closer below the volume imbalance, I think for sure we go for the low here. At this point, we'll break even as well. So risk-free trade, now we're just watching. Now we're just observing. If we get into buy side here, we'll be out. If not, break even. If we somehow manage to just kind of consolidate into the close without hitting either of those, we'll just manually close. You'll notice how we're still holding from here, right? This is obviously a sensitive area. Right, notice how the high of the first bullish fair value gap is aligned with consequent encroachment perfectly, not random. And then the bearish fair value gap that gets created, right? The high is also the high of the original fair value gap. The low is consequent encroachment of it. So this is kind of what we mean when we say, right? If you notice what you're looking for here, you'll kind of see how it's starting to align, which is why we would expect an area like this to either hold us and start sending us lower, or if we were to close back above it, I think we'd be free to release and attack this high at least. May not get them into here, but we would attack these equal highs. For now, though, that sucker is holding strong. You're gonna start making me trade NQ now. Oh, we talked about that a while ago. I started on it, switched to ES, give NQ some love again. Oh, we'll revisit the volume imbalance. Let's see if we close below. The highs and lows, the ups and downs. So at this point, we've revisited this. Let's see, we're gonna move stop. Was break even, get real close to it. Yeah, we'll go stop below this low. Stop's below this low. At this point, if we attack this low, we'll more than likely hit where we had our stop at break even anyways. All right, this area here still really our delay point. Don't really care about that big. Come on now, bruh. Give me this one right here. And Q starting to retrace back into the range. ESP too slow. Yeah, ES nice and methodical, right? ES just be taking its time. Looks like we're gonna end up inside the range. In the range. Equilibrium. Oh, oh, oh. Volume imbalance. Okay, okay, okay. Equilibrium is the volume imbalance of this range. Interesting. Also the volume imbalance. Well, that's convenient. So both volume imbalances are equilibrium of their respective ranges. Right, which means I wouldn't be surprised to see us actually kind of wander back into this area. If we're just going to hold this range here, this low to this high, that's where this equilibrium is. This high to this low, right, the second leg, the intra-range leg, equilibrium is this volume imbalance where we're kind of playing around now. So just good to know. Just waiting. Still thinking the same idea, right? If we can get above this area here, should be able to at least clear these highs. Volume imbalance been holding. Like to see that. NQ. Yeah, they're both good, honestly. Whatever you prefer. I was on NQ as well for a little bit. I switched to ES once I got a little bit better, more precise, just because, well, I kind of told a story before. NQ, like you said, moves more. So you can kind of catch larger ranges. But ES is a little more precise at times. Closure above, don't want to see us basically close back below, right? We don't want to start going up and down through an area like this, especially because we've held so many times. So now that we've closed above, we'd want to see that be respected as an area of support, right? Want to see that discount turn into a premium turn into a discount, excuse me, to then accelerate us through these highs. We then want to close above this fair value gap. So we want to close above the highs, above the fair value gap, and then in essence, repeat the same thing we would see here, where we then use that fair value gap to hold us. Need to hold this fair value gap first, though. That's our main area of attention. Yeah, not a bad idea either. Start your risk lower. Get more comfortable just trading it. Trading the instrument. And then go full port. I'm thinking with you. As far as a 2 minute, we still haven't closed above the 2 minute. We have a 2 minute inversion here. Right, we create the bullish, we then close below it. So we still have that really holding us, that higher time frame premium. On the contrary, 2 volume imbalances. So we're starting to create a lot of PD arrays in this little area. Getting towards the end of the day, we may just kind of remain in this range. Remember, this volume imbalance, the high of it is equilibrium of the high to low. So we would expect to kind of remain around that if we're just going to range. We don't like to see this give way, right? We close above it, immediately close back below it. That already is kind of a bad sign for us, especially with the 2 minute holding like this. We want to see us get above it quickly. What does that mean? How can I get everything on my chart? You got to put the rectangle here and then put a line here and then put a short-term low line here and then put a rectangle here. Now I'm fucking with you. What does that mean though? That's a pretty broad question. The color scheme I think is like F something. I don't even, let's see. You go to settings and then you go to, oh, you go right here and then you go right here. F4DDCE. F4DDCE. That's the color. Buy side line, you have to go, depending on what you're on, that's like in the emojis area, right? So you just type out buy side and then I'm on a PC, so I just press the Windows key and then I press period and it opens out the emojis. So then I just put whatever, you know what I mean, money. So change it to the flying money, actually. That'd be fire, the flying money. Oh, here we go, reaching for it. I just had to add a few extra dollars and said, let me get there. So we get above the highs, right? As we mentioned, early closing above this, early foreshadowing that we can get above the highs. We've cleared the highs. We want to close above that. Opening with the bullish volume imbalances is ideal. We should run up into the buy side, at which point we call it a day. As we said here, want to see now, we haven't closed above this fair value gap. So we've opened above it, but not closed above it. The close is the important part. So I'm still seeing this as not really confirmed as becoming an inversion because we've yet to close above. If we can leave this volume imbalance open, that means we have closed above, and that means we can now look for it to offer support into the buy side here. Facts. I'll be seeing hella people have the cream now. Hey, it just helps the eyes, you know what I mean? It's aesthetically pleasing. Can't blame. Can't blame y'all. I'm glad. Took a few iterations to get the perfect color scheme. Then obviously candles, black candle down, white candle up. Hidden volume imbalance here. Have yet to close above still. But we use this now, right? We come back down into it. Look at the beautiful delivery. Right into consequent encroachment. Algorithmic signatures. I'd love to see them. We understand if we close here, why? Oh, we snap back actually into the fair value gap. So still no closure above, right? Still no closure. Another volume imbalance. Second try. So we'd prefer, right, second try of a volume imbalance. We try it once here, that closes in. We retrace into the discount. It says we hold. Second attempt, we want to see this one stay open to then deliver us into the buy side. Because if we think we're going to try once, we should get there. If we're going to try twice and we fail twice, that's not a good sign. So at least leave the volume imbalance open. If anything, we should run into the buy side here with this candle, ideally. We'll see. If the box is just a rectangle with the midline through it. We don't like that. We finally close above though. So now we say, okay, now this becomes an inversion. At this point, any tap should be a tap and go to run into the buy side. And we call it a day and wrap it up. But yeah, you create a rectangle. And then in your settings, hit the middle line, beep. And keep that shit on. Oh, that is a great quote. Don't be a dick for a tick. Facts. Like normally, right, you just close that shit. Bang. Close as we hit this high right here. Oh, but we get retraces on us. At this point, stops below these equal lows here, just so you know. Volume imbalance. First tap. Oh no. First retracement into the fair value gap now is an actual inversion. Down close candle. When you count 3 P to erase to put a stop loss. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of subjective, but yeah, I would say like For me in this scenario, right, the volume imbalance, I want to see that hold us. So I'm saying that's 1. And then I see the whole large inversion is 2. But in reality, I don't want to get really any lower than the consequent encroachment. So then consequent encroachment plus this bullish, right? That would be my 3. So stops below the equal lows, because if we get below these 3, more than likely we attack the equal lows and come back lower anyway. We hold the volume imbalance. So like for me, if we were to close above this volume imbalance right now, in the theory, we could even put the stop below this right here. Because now I would say this down close candle wick, this swing low should hold us, right? That'd become another PD array for me. That's getting a little excessive, a little too precise on the 1 minute chart. Close there. So we'll just close right there at that high. So we're out because we expect that high. There it is. Cool. So it hits it anyways. So it works out for us. We get it on 32nd. 53.25 exactly was the entry. Original stop loss below the low to target the buy side here. As we get entered on that swing point. Missed the swing low by candle, shame. We start moving as we close above consequent encroachment, right? Stop gets moved. And at that point, we had already moved to break even. When we create this swing low inside the volume imbalance, stop gets put there. And then as we continue to move, we just use the stop loss to kind of follow it. But we finally went into the high. As we said, power hour is a little more methodical, so it took some time. A lot of waiting, kind of just having to trust that you're on sides, which we do here. We see the precision that it offers, even though it's moving back and forth, right? We see what it's referencing. No question that it's hitting these algorithmic levels. And even now, right? Notice how we're closing right there. Bodies tell the story. So with that, we're content. GG in the chat, he says. Cool. Yeah, we'll leave it with that. Tomorrow we come back at what time? What time? I think I said 9:25. Yeah. High impact news at 8:30. So we'll just get here at 9:25 and see what we get tomorrow. Macro perspective. I like this high here, all-time highs. We'll probably hit that overnight, honestly. Wouldn't be surprised. Once we get into that area, kind of like we said last time we were here, we just have to really trust that we want to continue in the trend. So we'll rely really on intraday profiles, right? Because there won't be much to aim for here. We can start using projections again. And yeah, really just rely on the 15-minute and our understanding of that to use the 1 minute chart to our advantage. I just want to see if we run back on this liquidity right now. Right, trendline liquidity here. Trendline traders get punished. So maybe we come back for equal lows. And you can really see how small the range is, right? How long we had to wait just for 5 handles. That was barely a 5-handle trade. And that took us basically 35 minutes to get 5 handles. Right, so that's what we really don't like, that type of trading, but we understand in power hour, especially when we've moved quite a bit like this. Bound to happen. All time, yeah, I feel that. I think so for sure too. So close to it. We might just gap it. We might get new week opening gap through all-time high. 4-hour closes. Look at the 4-hour close right on that, right? You can just see the precision there. You see it all the time once you understand it. But if we close above the 4-hour here easy, we should definitely get up into that high. No question, no question. Hey, Zeno, appreciate that, brother. I'm glad you find them helpful. Learned something. That's good to know, though, honestly. I do my best. Sometimes it's not the best, but hey, we work with what we got. You feel me? Look at that wick, right? We pick up liquidity. We might wait till 4. Let's see. 350 to 4 o'clock gives some volatility. So this is almost a Judah swing in itself. As we said, this was the first time we closed above this inversion, okay? So now this candle here is the first time we've repriced into the actual inversion as a new discount, and we've closed above. So now we wouldn't want to see any lower than consequent encroachment. Whereas here, we never get into it, so we can expect to run lower. Now that the fact that we've actually repriced perfectly into the low and closed back above, you wouldn't really want to see any lower than consequent encroachment. So like now that we've come into it and holding here as support, you'd really want to see price start to move away. If we don't, we would really more expect us to either start retracing in on ourselves or just play around inside this fair value gap into the close. See you tomorrow, brother. 9:25, 9:25. We just chilling a few more minutes, probably. Not missing nothing. Yes, me again. Hey, hey. Nice. Are we gonna get there? Let's see if we get there. As we said, right, we don't even really come back into it, into this fair value gap. We've closed above all the highs. We've closed above the actual high here as well. So same idea, wouldn't want to see any lower than like this low right here, this down close candle. Would really prefer us just to tap this old high and continue to move. I mean, we're hitting that perfectly. So that's kind of what we wanted to see, right? No lower than that, tap that. Had to tap it twice. Now that we have, we should go for the high. All-time highs, all-time highs. Oh my goodness. Do it. Bang, party. Everyone gets crazy in the streets, all-time highs. The world's the best it's ever been. Everyone is thriving. Like, that's what you think though, right? With all-time highs, but we're grinding out here. Make it make sense. Oh, I had a double tap, said bing bing. Yeah, once you see it, once you're able to kind of see it happen, right, before it plays out, that's when you really, that's when it becomes even better. Right, and it all makes sense, and you go, ooh, all those hours you spent looking at charts for what you thought was no reason at all comes into play. It's beautiful, and it makes sense. It's all like a game, to be honest. Once you figure out the game, you just got to play the game long enough, then you learn all the moves of the game, and then you just wait for them to play out. We're going to keep running, though. That's a huge, aggressive move. Yeah, at this point, all-time highs, so we'll have to see what we get tomorrow. Can't really do much now. What I'll probably do is I'll throw up a projection from the last, let's see, let's do... I like this leg here. Oh my goodness, we're about to close right on that too. Right, third standard deviation, we hit that. We'll have to throw even more. Yeah, whatever, we'll fight with it tomorrow. We are content with that. Now we are good to leave. For those that stuck around, good for y'all. Grinded it out. He said, don't know. Definitely price. Your wife can't make you this kind of money. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe she can, I guess. Hey, that's on you. No one knows what you be doing with your own. But all right, everybody. Oh, shoot. We will meet up tomorrow morning at 9:25 Eastern. Hope you guys have a good night. Take care and talk in the morning.